You have other platforms, man, former athletes. That thing could have went and elevated their podcast, bro. Pat McAfee didn't need that. Anybody else, that could have elevated their platform.
So what time does the 11 o'clock podcast start? It's 11 o'clock.
This is the first time. This is the first time you've ever been on time. I'm super duper proud of you.
I am offended that you would lie to the people in such.
I will say first, this is top
We've
five.
got a bunch of liars out there. We're right on tune. Should we dive right in?
Jump in. Jump in.
Wait, can we start with this? Two things.
The fact that we're on Road Trippin, your name is Channing Frye. He's Richard Jefferson. Molly Clifton and Kendrick Perkins is on the way. Go for it, Channing.
Okay, before we get into the big story, can we talk about two things that I said on NBA TV and one thing that I'm going to put out right now? I went to the Cavs Portland game, saw all the boys.
Yeah.
What boys?
What Cavs players, right? And obviously some of the Portland guys. Great game. Why are we not talking about Evan Mobley as Defensive Player of the Year?
We have.
I mean, but not like.
Not that he's now the front runner.
So
why? Because it was always Wemby.
I went and got stats.
That's why. To answer your question, because of Wemby.
The man of the hour is here, Kendrick Perkins. Welcome.
He's on pace to become the 8th player in NBA history to average 1.5 blocks, basically a steal, and too few fouls a game. There's only 5 other players that have ever done that. We're talking about why Evan Mobley should be Defensive Player of the Year.
Because we really wanted to wait on you, Perk, for the big hot topic of the day.
Right. Yeah. This is, and then there's one more topic. Right. So he's third and contested. Like he has all this. I got all this stuff from NBA TV. Right. And I'm just like, why is there he's the best defender on the best team, second, they go back and forth. Team in the NBA. He's young. He's great. Like, why is nobody talking about it? Well, probably because we're talking about,
we haven't been talking a lot about basketball of late over the last 2 weeks because it's been a distraction.
I wanted to get it out the way.
But Evan Mobley, he is my front runner. He is going to probably most likely get my vote for Defensive Player of the Year.
I don't know what happened this summer other than him getting money. I don't know if he got married, had some kids. Something happened because he be acting different out there. Like the dude where I was like, I don't know if his offense is this or that. I don't know what Kenny Atkinson told him or Donovan Mitchell told him.
He's only 23 years old. He's still learning how to play basketball.
It's crazy.
22, just turned 23. He's still learning how to play basketball. Like,
dude,
Jenny,
it's crazy.
Think about it. You were a rookie at 22, 23.
Yeah.
So now compare you as the 8th pick and a top 10 pick. Compare yourself, your rookie year, to what Evan Mobley's doing right now. Like, that's how good he is.
Yeah. When he put it that way.
They just need him to become dominant. That's the next step. If you go $300 million, and now that extra cap space and all the different stuff that when you go that big and you're paying that amount of money, you've got to be a dominant player, not elite on both ends. You need to be a part of all NBA, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP conversation consistently.
Because when you start making that type of money, then all of a sudden we see a Minnesota Timberwolves situation where it's like we don't want to move Cat, but we got to move Cat because the money. You know what I mean? Like when you know what I mean? So like you may see a Jared Allen have to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and once these players know they qualify, there is no negotiation. They might give you, I can qualify for 334. Okay, look, I love you guys. I'll take 315 so we have some flexibility. Right. They're not doing this 285. No, once they qualify, that's what I get. That's the number. You want to keep me? That's the number. Like we can do a little wiggle. So that's what I'm saying. That's a big jump for teams. Like you want them to win it, but also, if he doesn't.
I know, but also can you name me a better, younger, big man in the league right now?
He's the second. Is
Paolo?
He's the third best power forward in the league behind Giannis and Anthony Davis.
Okay, where do we rank? Where do we rank? Where do we rank Paolo?
Paolo,
I got him as a forward.
Yeah.
Forward, right? Like,
He's not a power forward. He's a wing player.
No.
Like
I don't know, bro. He's a wing power forward, bro.
No, he's huge.
He's
tall.
he just played with power.
He's as tall as me,
Bro.
and bigger than me. And I said, "Hey, yo!"
You know,
I said, "Hey, man."
He's kind of built like Carmelo. I think he's even wider than Carmelo, right? In the way they played, like Carmelo had a little bit more skill, and he's a little bit more athletic. But Paolo, he's a big man. He's built like Karl Malone.
You know. Hey, if prime Ben Simmons, all NBA Ben Simmons.
Oh yeah.
And Michael Beasley had a baby, you get Paolo Banchero.
Wow.
I love when we're taking players and we're making babies. I love it.
Whoa.
Paolo is stronger than both. Like Paolo.
Hold on, Ben Simmons, bro. Like them first 3 years.
Yeah. I'm not. But I'm saying there's a different type of strong. And
I got you.
Like they're strong and then strength.
Okay, we've reached that mark. We're 7 minutes in. We're going to get to that in a second because Channing, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Channing. We're going to get to that in a second because you can't bury the lead. Come on. We're 7 minutes in. We got to touch on it. However, for those of you that are new to the pod, watching and listening, go subscribe, do all the things because you have just introduced yourself to the Channing Frye experience. When he gets excited about a player, he takes that player, no matter if they're 18 or they're 29, and he puts expectations way up to the top. And it is the greatest roller coaster ride you'll ever be on. And then we've got Perk and Richard to bring him back down to earth. Okay, so if there's one thing we know about this podcast, we're not going to spend this entire podcast because I know a lot of you listeners have really enjoyed these guys covered the league in a variety of ways. So we will get back to Channing's second point and all the other wonderful NBA topics that are happening right now. The playoffs are freaking 10 games away. But I will say, Perk, you're basically on the front lines from a sports perspective this morning dealing with all of this. Would you like to go first? Or Channing has gone to straight to the source. So, Rich, you just sit there and sip your tea and then
Rich is on the same text chain as me.
Stephen A was on his Taylor Swift tour. LeBron wanted to jump right on in. And so, Perk, would you like to go first?
I will say this. Listen, I just finished. I finished the first take segment hit this morning. I'm not in the middle, okay, of Braun and Stephen A. That is their beef, okay? I answered the question that was asked of me about Braun saying about how the league is covered. I gave my opinion on that. I also gave my opinion on him and Michael Jordan relationship, and I also gave my opinion on Mind the Game, right, the podcast. And all I did was I said, hey, you went from JJ Redick to now Steve Nash, right? And all I said is that Richard Jefferson, congratulations, is on the A team and will be calling the NBA Finals play-by-play. Channing Frye does an excellent job at what he does at TNT, NBA TV. Phil Handy, you won 2 championships with. Draymond Green is your boy, high IQ.
Okay, you did.
One of those? Hold on. Anyone?
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Any one of those guys are suitable to sit across the table from you and actually talk X's and O's of minding the game? That's all I ask.
I like Steve.
No.
Steve's my guy, though. So.
Okay, so let me say this about who LeBron chose to sit next to. Bron has been on this podcast multiple times, 5 times. He sat with us after they won the 2020 championship, right? He sat with us and did an in-studio interview. Go check it out. Millions of views. Great time. He sat with us.
Tens of millions.
He started a podcast company that Draymond signed to. And I think this is the part. I hear you that people want his interview and that there's whoever gets it is a winner of the LeBron James sweepstakes. But we don't, in my opinion, we don't get to pick and choose. It's like, well, you could have gone here. And I know that what the undertone is of, oh, well, why would you lift up that platform and this person supported you? Yes, but he's also supported people along this line, including this podcast, multiple times. We helped launch The First Dance. We were on this podcast, and Bron said, man, if ESPN, they got to release that thing early. They used it in the promo for The Last Dance. They used this podcast audio clip. I say that to say is that he has supported and been there. So when we start picking and choosing, like they was talking about on the Gilbert Arenas podcast, when you start picking and choosing who he has to give his platform to at what time and what platform, yes, we're all going to want to win that. But if he chooses for a reason, then let's look at the history still. He has helped lift up a ton of other podcasts. He has done other things. That's just true. I was there when him and JJ were talking about Mind the Game and how that got created. JJ's idea, bringing it to him. We're going to fault JJ for that? So I look at this whole situation about who he gave that interview to as people just, again, picking and choosing. Because if you look at the history, he launched this podcast, was on it multiple times. He launched the podcast company that Draymond Green was signed to and JJ Redick was signed to at one time. So we can't sit here and say, well, I think he should have given it to this person to lift up. He's been lifting up platforms. That's my rant. That's my opinion. I'll stick with it.
All right. So I'll just say this. Steve called me before their show even started. And he was chanting, we talked for an hour. Steve, I know basketball, right? I know basketball. I know more than it looked like I know. I don't know half as much as what Steve knows. I give so much credit to Steve breaking down the game when I was in Phoenix, really just kind of seeing it a whole different way. I think his perspective on the game is unique as a tiny white dude, 2-time MVP. I don't know if we've ever had one of those in the last 40 years, right? I mean, we've had tall white MVPs, but not a tiny white MVP that could barely dunk. I think his perspective as a true point guard is awesome. As a coach, as a fanatic of all these games is great. But I also think Steve comes with is a perfect match for Bron because Steve we used to call him 2-time, but you would never notice. That's not his personality. So for me, yes, would I have liked to do something like that? Probably. But me, I love being on Road Trippin, and I don't really ever look at it like that, just because I think, Bron is extremely strategic. And if I just stay in my lane, good things will happen. And I like talking to you fuckers.
We like listening to you, fucker. I do want to clarify, and I do have a question with this because I feel like there was two things just being intertwined right there. Are we talking about his choice to elevate
Pat
with Steve Nash? Or are we talking about him going on Pat McAfee? Because there's two conversations happening right now.
I was just talking about the Steve Nash thing.
So it's more of who LeBron's giving who LeBron gave that opportunity to, that interview, Pat McAfee, right? When there are tons of other platforms that are basketball related.
Are we not going to say why I thought he did? I didn't ask him. I thought he did it because I thought Stephen A. hates Pat McAfee, and so he was just sniping him.
Well, hang on. Why don't we ask the guy who actually presented the question, Perk? What were you referring to?
So on first take, I was referring to the Mind the Game. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now we want to get into a deeper dive into it, which I was saving for here, and I'm glad Richard brought it up. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes of it, right? It was strategically.
It's a big word.
Shut up. It was strategically planned out that he wanted to go on there because we know it's not revealed, it's not public, but it's something going on with a power trip between Stephen A. and Pat McAfee. That part. Okay. Now No, Braun beefing with Stephen A. Pat McAfee show come on right after that. I'm going to go on this platform, right? And I'm going to do it being petty at the highest. I received so many fucking phone calls and messages yesterday and today from former players that said, see, that's what I be talking about with Braun with the bullshit. He's in group messages right now. This is what I be talking about with Braun with the bullshit, right? And now if you want to keep it real, any platform that Braun would have went on, and yes, he came on here on Road Trippin. He did an outstanding job. But guess what? That unfiltered part of LeBron James, the way Cat Williams blew up Shannon Sharp, Shannon Sharp, what you call it?
Yeah.
That would have had the same effect on anybody else's podcast, the way he was unfiltered on that show. So with that being said, people hitting me up, I got to thinking. Not only is it Road Trippin out there, you have the knuckleheads, you have all the smoke, you have the OGs. By the way, Mike Miller, Udonis Haslam, who you won a championship with. You have Draymond Green, you're a guy.
You're missing the point, Perk.
Hold on, I let you speak. Let me finish. It's not no point to be missed. I get it. I said it. He did it to be petty towards Stephen A. I got that part of it, right? I got that. It's like Rich Paul just was on there last week. All of a sudden, LeBron is on there as soon as he touched down in Indiana. All of a sudden, they're talking about everything across the board. Brian Windhorst, he's weird. Stephen A., all this shit, right? I get that part. All I'm saying is this. You have other platforms, man, former athletes, brothers at that thing could have went and elevated their podcast, bro. It wasn't, Pat McAfee didn't need that. He didn't need that. Anybody else that could have elevated their platform. That's just
Can I ask you, did Serena need to dance at Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl? She didn't need that.
Come on, Shannon. Like
it's the same thing.
Nah, but I'm saying, I'm telling you this. I'm not the only person.
Wait, Perk. I hear you. Perk,
I'm not the only person that feels this.
Wait, Perk. This is the point that I'm saying. All four of us know Bron. Right? I hear what you're saying. Yes, you're accurate. Anywhere he goes would have been an opportunity to elevate that platform, right? That's agreed. We know it. He knows it. Everyone knows it. He was most likely calculated in what he was doing, so he put that over anything else. And we know him. And the minute people start telling him what they expect him to do and what he should do, look at Channing's face. Like, he's going to do the opposite. And like, look, love him, hate him, like support him, don't support, whatever your opinion are, like, people don't get to choose what he should do because it was XYZ. He had a message that he wanted to send. And if we're looking at all the platforms, he has helped blow up other platforms. He created a platform to help athletes. So to use it as a space of like, yeah, it could have helped somebody else, but at the same point in time, if he was choosing to go do a certain message on a certain platform and to be petty, that supersedes everything else. The beef supersedes everything else. And that's something that athletes should respect.
Isn't it funny that this is all happening when the Lakers went to Indy?
And they won a game.
It was a podcast that was on. It was a podcast that's on television versus sitting down via conversation like this. The timing of it all. The dude, like, he had to drive 1 hour one way. Like, you land in Indianapolis.
Sitting in the back taking a nap.
Okay, same difference. But anyone that wants to land in Indianapolis on a road trip and get in a car and then drive another hour,
especially Indiana, if they can get popping.
Okay, wow.
I mean, I went there. I know about the Thunderdome. I did a show in there, right? I know it's, and
is it as cool as it looks?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Like, I have nothing negative to say about Pat McAfee.
Yeah, totally.
Great dude all across the board. And again, I get it. And again, I'm gonna say this.
Wait. Slow down. Let's rewind real quick. Do we feel like, again, Bron didn't have to say what he said, but do we feel like Pat McAfee threw a lob, right, to Bron? Like when you're photoshopping, Wendy on the team, when you're doing that, when you're kind of teeing up Bron, talking about, oh, you're best friends, blah blah. Quote me if I'm wrong. I'm just asking. When he's saying that to a guy that comes on his show, right? Wendy comes on his show. One of the basketball guys that comes on his show.
Not no more.
But I'm just saying. And that's what I'm saying. But you haven't said one thing about Pat McAfee.
Oh,
you don't think that was not cool of Pat McAfee to kind of do that to Wendy and to not edit it out or to not I haven't heard. That's what they think. That's one of the crazy things is that
I didn't even think about it like that.
Hold on, listen, I'm with you, and guess what? You are absolutely right. It was bullshit, right? Because Wendy was going on Pat McAfee's show until one day Pat McAfee. So you didn't been on Pat McAfee's show, right, Richard?
Once or twice. Not as much as
so I've been on there a lot. And how it goes is that, the monthly schedule or weekly schedule that they send out, like Pat McAfee don't go by that schedule. So he'll hit you an hour or they'll hit you an hour before and say, hey, can you jump on? And you're like, huh? Like, I got 10 other shows to do. So one day, Wendy actually had 7 shows to do. He had did Sports Center AM, Get Up, First Take. And they hit him and said, hey, can you jump on real quick? And he like, well, I'm doing a show from the arena. I'm going to be in the car with a group of people. They was like, oh, never mind. Guess what Pat McAfee does after that? He goes out and put on social media that, hey, anybody out there, I will pay along the lines for any NBA analyst to come on the show because I can't get them in-house because they're not available. He was talking to Wendy. And so, okay, cool. My thing is Wendy didn't deserve that. Also, Wendy didn't deserve to be called weird, bro. Brian Windhorst, and this is the only thing that I really got mad at Bron about. Brian Windhorst protects LeBron James like no other, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that right there, to me, it was a whole setup, and it was a lot of hee-heeing and ha-ha. That shit wasn't cool. And it was let me walk into the Thunderdome. Let me put this key in your back, Bron. Let us all make you feel like you're family, and you just let the fuck loose. Like, come on, man, really?
Was there anything else that you guys wanted to touch on before we?
Oh, you see the game winner though? The game winner?
It'll be the
No, we're not talking basketball yet, Richard. Remember, nobody wants to hear that segment.
You got less than 5 minutes. We're on the clock. I'm watching.
Okay, here we go. 2 things. One, I get different perspectives from both Bron and Stephen A and whoever else. All I ask from both parties, and I'm obviously we're close to Bron, the Stephen A Smith side. If you're gonna have an argument, please don't lie. Please don't make shit up. If you have a problem, don't make shit up and say, well, why weren't you at Kobe's funeral or memorial service? And why were you not doing this? Just fact check yourself. The beef is not fun when we know you've run out of things to talk about. I think this whole thing is hilarious personally, but to bring up a memorial service and then to bring up another thing about D Wade and Bron and why he ain't doing this, just ask somebody, where was LeBron James at? It's LeBron James. People probably know where his airplane is at all times. That's it. So just don't lie to try and win an argument or to make yourself look better. If you don't like him and say, I don't like you because of A, B, C, and D, I get it. Some people are going to like it. Some people aren't. But don't start making shit up that is way personal and has absolutely nothing to do with the beef that started when you said, I'm pleading to you as a father. Because that one sentence is the whole reason, this whole thing. And then for you to say, oh, well, I'm just talking basketball. When you say I'm pleading to you as a father, that has nothing to do with basketball. That's dead to dead, man to man, and then the basketball stuff's to the side. So let's just keep it however we want to keep it. I don't care if you like each other. I think this is hilarious. But Stephen A. Smith and ESPN folks, no offense to you guys, just don't lie and make shit up to keep this going.
Do you have the facts?
Just keep it real.
Do you have the story?
Yes, we do have the facts. He was at the memorial service. There's multiple films of Diana Taurasi pointing to him and talking to him. And also from him, he said, I just didn't want to be on camera. And then 2, Bronny had his heart issue, and he was at the Mayo Clinic that same week. So to be like, oh, why weren't you at D Wade's thing? Well, he was in the hospital with his son getting heart surgery. So let's just please get your facts right so that we can continue talking about this and not basketball. That's it.
We're good. Can we get to the basketball?
Yeah, let's do that.
I don't have a fight in. I was just saying.
I love how you started at Perk. I am not in the middle.
Of course he's not. Of course he's not. But again, for me, none of us are in the middle. We're all part of this and watching it. And I just don't like it.
But it's dumb on both sides, bro. Like,
for sure.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, both
it's like Drake and Kendrick,
right. For
what?
And I ain't taking no sides, but both are wrong. Like, both are taking it too far. At this point in time, I'm exhausted. Hold on. I'm exhausted. Huh?
I like talking basketball. I like being a sarcastic.
The one thing, if I could say,
and I like talking basketball. That's what like. Oh, I don't like beef. I don't like drama. I don't like debates because I
don't like beef. Who does that?
Richard. Oh, okay. Last thing, Allie. Last thing. So they asked a clip. Obviously, Bron said something about Giannis scoring 250 points, right?
Yeah.
And then Mad Dog got on and said, "Oh, absolutely not." Here's what made me mad. Not only does Mad Dog, one of the older guys that have watched a lot of basketball and is a huge advocate for the 60s, 70s, 80s basketball, don't acknowledge the pettiness of him saying 250 points. Obviously, he's not going to score that. What made me mad is I never got a chance to watch live or really do that much research on, the 60s and 70s players like Mad Dog has or his love. And then secondly, when you're talking about Maurice Lucas, who is a coach of mine, still friends with David Lucas to this day, we want to hear those stories. Mm-hmm. We want to see or hear, man, Giannis is really great, but here's what Dr. J did. So I work with Isaiah Thomas, Zeke. He was telling me how great Dr. J was, what he would do. He was like, Dr. J was your favorite basketball player's favorite basketball player, about how his stats in the ABA, he was the face of the ABA, then he was the face of the NBA, and the NBA doesn't keep his ABA stats. And those stories are what gets me excited about comparing players, right? Like, dang, Dr. J was cold, and then Giannis is cold. What would actually happen? That's fun. But we don't talk about that. We want to hear those stories. Like, I can't speak. If you want to hear about Dirk or young Shaq or Chris Bosh or Amari, any of those guys from my era, I could tell you, young Blake Griffin, crazy. But Mad Dog and the older people that are on TV, please tell your stories less about comparing, but more about like situational stuff and basketball things. That's what we want to hear. That's what basketball fans want to hear. And not always like proving your point of why LeBron was wrong. Of course, he's not going to score 250 points to some Chuck Taylors and leather knee braces. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but Shannon, it's a, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that on First Take because it's a debate show.
Right.
Like it's a debate show. So you're not gonna get those stories or a deep dive into the X's and O's or a deep dive into the whole basketball analyst part of it because it's a debate show. Like First Take, that's what it is, right? It's controversy. You know what I'm saying?
But you get what I'm trying to say though. It's like I want to hear. I'm with you 1,000%. I'm gonna tell you one more thing I had a problem with. One more thing. Alex, Shannon, Richard, one thing. So they asked this question today about, broad comments about how today the league is covered, right? And I'm like, this comes up so much, right? Where all the players now, like, all they do is bash the league. All they do is bash the league. All they do is bash the league. And I'm like, I get it, but that's been around since way before we were even thought of. Like,
fucking Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Jordan, you name it. They all caught heat. Like, it comes with the territory. I even said it today. KG told me in 2008, 2009, hey, Perk, listen, man, I'm out. They running some post-ups for you. You finally get some touches on the low block. I see you putting up numbers. Just like your big ass run home and go turn on the TV when you have a good game to see what they gonna say about you. Keep that same damn energy when you struggle, and you use that shit for fuel. Which let me know is like, he like, motherfucker, this is what comes with the territory. Period. Like, you're going to be criticized, man. Like, do guys take it a step further? But yeah, like, realistically, I don't have a beef with Charles Barkley, with Shaq. Those guys are old. Like, they're senior citizens. Like, they're gonna crack jokes. No, real talk. I know. They're just dumb rich, just living their life, having a good time, talking. Like, I was pissed off about what he said, but it ain't like I want to be an enemy of him.
That was fair. He came at you and called you an idiot. That was fair.
Yeah,
that was different.
That part.
Yeah, that part was different. Yeah.
That part was different. But outside of that, it ain't like I'm walking around like, man, what Chuck is? What is drop your location?
Just like LeBron did in Indy last night with this putback. Let's transition into basketball. Isn't it funny, too, on the day where that whole thing dropped, he decides to hit a game winner. Did he just tie? Does he now have the most?
Him?
No.
I think it's him, Jordan, Cole.
Yeah.
Cole and Joe Johnson. I think there was I think they might be all tied at 8, Allie.
Yeah, I think they're at the top. On a night too where he hit his first field goal, not till the fourth quarter. Perk and Channing, you guys had on a text chain something you wanted to dive into regarding the Lakers right now.
Oh man. Well, I'll start with
what you're seeing from them. They got 10 games to go.
Last night I felt like was a bit of an anomaly, right? Indiana Pacers have one of the fastest paces in the league. And since the All-Star break, the Lakers have the 23rd slowest pace in the NBA. And then when I watched them the other night, so who was it on Monday night, Allie, that y'all played?
Orlando.
Allie, it seemed like, and then obviously JJ said, hey, our team looks exhausted. There on your offense in the half court, there is absolutely zero to no movement whatsoever. It's like, get a screen, okay, this matchup, and you just go, and then you just rely on that person. I feel like that isn't going to work consistently when you get to the playoffs. You're going to have to ask Luka to move and cut, and just a little bit. I know I'm asking a lot. And to ask Braun that also is just like, hey, if we want to win, you got to move a little bit. But it just seems like there's so much standing and watching. And then you'll watch Luka get 20 in a quarter, and then the next quarter he'll get 2. The next quarter he might get 6. Then the next quarter he might get 6 because he just one-on-one. And I just feel like that is not sustainable for your guys' success. Also, Orlando, yes, he got points. Orlando was locking Luka up. Like, they were locking him up in that second, third, fourth quarter. And then a minute that he doesn't score, they are going at his ass like fresh barbecue. Okay. I agree with me too. They are going at him crazy. And I know Perk did, and I'm going to let Perk get this. His effort defensively, just try. That's all I ask. I wasn't the best defender. Obviously not. But you know what I was? I was a positional defender. I'm going to be there way ahead of time because I know I can't move these puppies the way I need to. So I'm going to at least try. I'm going to give effort. It seems like he'll do this, and then somebody goes by, and he just goes like this. Yoink, and they just go right by him. And I'm like, damn, dog, that has to wear on you as your teammate that you're not committing yourself to that side of the game. But anyways, that was my thing. But go ahead, Perk.
Luka is a great offensive player. The movement part of it, Shannon, is you're just not going to get out of him, right? This is Luka Doncic offense, right? This is, hey, y'all hold y'all spots. I'm gonna do what I do. That's why Braun has done an excellent job of actually playing off the ball, right? Like we could comfortably say that this is Luka's team, right? Y'all agree? Okay, and that's fine. I do believe this before I dive into the defensive side of things. Yes, Luka and Braun are the best players on the team. Austin Reeves is the most important player on the Lakers team. Like, if they're going to make a deep run, it's going to be because of the play of Austin Reeves. When he scored 20-plus points or more on the season, they're 23-6. When Austin Reeves is balling, they're 23-6 when they have 20 or more. So that part of it. I think they'll be fine offensively because the one thing about it is, like, you have two high IQ guys in Braun and Luka, they'll figure that shit out, period. Like, that. Like, if it comes down to a possession-by-possession game, offensively, eventually you're going to get a good shot.
Can you answer me one question before you continue on that note? Specific to last night, watching that game down the stretch, was it just me or was Luka passing up way too much off of drives when he could have finished at the rim? Instead, he's kicking out.
Allie, have you ever been exhausted and tried to make a layup? You got no lift. He looked, to me, he's getting his lungs back. He just looks like he don't have that bump and pop. That's why, to me, it seems, I know the stats are going to say differently, but his game, first, second quarter, then he starts to. And I strongly believe he's not going to have the rest of this season. Right. Because the conversation is that he needs to get in shape. Right, but he's going to have to take this off season to do that. Okay. That's still not going to affect that he could go out there and put up 30, 11, and 9. He's going to do that.
He still gets his buckets. It just down the stretch, I'm like, he defers, I feel like, on the passer. Yeah, okay.
Did you see it? Last night when they were doing the interview with Braun, they put the camera on Luka. He was breathing so damn hard, it was crazy. He was that exhausted. Okay, so now that's the hotel room, hotel phone. I don't know who they are calling me. Here's the thing. Moving to the defensive side of things. All I'm saying is this, dog. Since putting on the Laker uniform, he is the worst he's number one in the league in blow-bys. Number one in the league in blow-bys. He had Richard pointed out, because I talked about it yesterday, but then Richard went at halftime, he pointed it out. He pointed it out after the game. It was like 4 possessions in the fourth quarter where guys just just went by Luka. It was like, bro, the game is still close. Just one hard, oh no, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get over there, but it was just kind of like, man, I just feel like, listen, Luka has to change that about himself. It is a mindset. And I always bring up this guy, and I don't like to, because this is my dog for life. But Eddie House, and I'm going to end on this. Eddie House was known as a what? Shooter. In 2008, I saw Eddie House defend his ass off the bench. I saw Eddie House fighting to get up over screens. I saw Paul Pierce, who damn near have the same type of body frame as Luka, right? Like, actually guard in the playoffs in the fourth quarter of prime Joe Johnson. What?
You got somebody behind you.
That's my wife, Shannon. She didn't even know she was. She just in there ordering room service. That's she just in there.
I know. I said, hey, yo, brother,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
tell her she can come on over. She can come on.
Yeah, she just going on about her business.
This is no disrespect, because I thought it was like a house cleaner. I said, man, the house cleaner taking your food away. I know you're hungry.
Yeah, so that's my thing. I think still the Lakers still would get in the Western Conference Finals. I do believe that.
Okay, I was actually going to ask you guys that, and then we'll move on to what other team is striking you guys right now, because there's 10 games to go, and they are going between the 4 or 5. I mean, there's some people thinking they could fall out. They're not going to fall out of the playoffs with 10 to go, correct? You got Chicago, you got Memphis, you got Houston at home, you got another Golden State Pelicans, you got 2 OKCs. You go to Dallas, and I don't care how you look at that. That's Luka's first game back in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And then you end with Houston, who has won 10 of 11. Right now, they are going back and forth with Memphis 4-5. Do they get 4-5? How do you see them? How do you see this playing out?
I can see them ending at 6.
At 6?
Yeah.
The Clippers, who are showing a whole new side?
Well, have you seen?
They're 3 games ahead of the Clippers.
I know, but listen, 10 to go, 3 games. Let's say the Clippers go 7-3, and the Lakers go 4-6 again.
Fuck.
Yep. Right. But here's the problem: if you're them, you hope that Denver keeps or doesn't stay at 3. That's the only matchup they don't want in the first round is the Nuggets. Other than that, I think they'll take their chances on anyone else. Golden State obviously can be beat. Minnesota, Oklahoma City, Houston. I think Denver can be beat. But Jokic is that problem where, like, yeah.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think this Lakers squad, I think they actually like their chances against Denver.
I do too.
Look, Jokic
is that a bet?
Hold on. No, we're not going to go there.
I'm going to bet that with Perk's wife in the room, she will say absolutely not.
She definitely would say that. Listen, Jokic had one of his worst games of the past 2 seasons against the Lakers. And then with no Braun, no Luka, Austin Reeves and Dalton Connect goes in there and put on the clinic. Y'all know this. Especially at this time of the season. Going into the postseason, you don't want to give teams hope in life. I strongly believe the Lakers believe that they could beat the Nuggets now in a 7-game series. I do. I think J.J. Redick is confident at that level because here's the thing. I think J.J. has a blueprint that actually work against the Denver Nuggets. Meaning, we're going to pack the paint. We're going to trap Jokic. But when we trap Jokic, we're taking away that Aaron Gordon cut because we got the bodies to match him. Rui, Braun, whoever. We're taking away those cuts. You motherfuckers got to knock down threes. Aaron Gordon, Russell Westbrook, who else? Christian Brown
has been balling.
He has been, but he's not known as a shooter.
Right.
And I think if you stick to that blueprint in the 7-game series, I think it favors the Lakers. And then on the other end, he's saying, shit, who coming to guard Austin Reeves? Who coming to guard Luka? Who's coming to guard LeBron? Nobody.
Yeah. Well, when you put it that way, I still think Denver, but it does. You do make a good point. But did he show his hand too early?
What adjustment can you make?
Did who show his hand too early?
JJ. Yeah.
1 game?
Dude, that's a playoff. That is something he wanted that game. Here, Allie.
I think he needed it to know that he could, that they had a blueprint, and that his guys that team needed to know.
For sure. But Allie, that was a playoff. The way they executed that shit was perfection. It's great, right? Yeah. Like the end of the game, Suns play the other day. They executed that play to perfection, got Booker that shot at the end of the game. But man, I just think you're giving this Nuggets team now, since they're obviously 5-5, the last 10, but Jokic hasn't played a bunch. They are now, AG had 38 the other night. Michael Porter Jr. has been balling. Jamal Murray's been balling. I think that showed them that, hey, Coach Mike Malone goes, yo, we can't win shit if y'all are afraid to shoot the ball. You have to shoot the ball, and we have to live this way. And we can't just rely sucking on the teat of Jokic. Y'all got to be men. Play. Y'all are hoopers. And then they've been playing a lot better. So I will say Denver is dangerous. Denver's my underdog in the West.
It ain't no underdog. It's two teams matching up in the NBA Finals this year. Boston and OKC.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Boston and OKC.
Give me the field. You give me the field?
Hold on. On what side? You know what? I would. I'll give you the field. OKC, I'll tell you this. Oklahoma City coming out of the West. I will bet that. Oklahoma City is coming out of the Western Conference.
Let's make this a fun bet.
I will bet that.
A fun bet.
OKC against the field.
Fun bet dinner. Yeah.
You got to take two teams. You're going to take OKC and who else?
No. I'm taking one team. OKC is Oklahoma City is coming out of the West against the field. That's it.
Perk, I just want you to know, if you're taking this dinner bet with Channing will order off the wall wine all dinner long.
I could tell he's a slime ball like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's some shit I do.
All right.
Listen, we're gonna drink good. It's gonna be expensive, but we're gonna drink it equal.
I had a
where's
bet.
That Wagyu?
When I first real talk, I had a bet when I first got in the league. I mean, in the media space with Nick Wright on social media, right? And it was the Bucks versus Toronto, and it was dinner, right? If he had picked Giannis, I believe it was. I think I was Toronto or Philly, and if he won the bet, then I had to pay for him and his family, because he got a family of 6 like I do, to go to any steakhouse. He took the pictures, dog, put it on social media. The bill was fucking $2,300. I was so pissed off.
Oh, that's it? I ran that bitch up.
Perk, we were in Vegas for Summer League, and Channing decided to take over the Road Trippin dinner, and it was $7,600.
There was 10 of us.
That's still expensive.
What?
The sides you could share. I mean,
it was wine. I'm telling you, this bitch would go in the fucking cellar. I'm telling you.
People were thirsty. People were thirsty, and they left unthirsty.
Touche. We've got, with a mad ass hangover, we've got 10 minutes left. I want your panties in a bunch, not panties in a bunch, presented by Skims. Go. Ooh. What team? What storyline? What thought?
Okay. Mine is the Cavs.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, and mine
is the Cavs, right? They've been in the slump. You know what I'm saying? They've been in the slump, and this is not the time to actually be in the slump. At this point, you want to be playing your best basketball, and I still believe that they're going to the conference finals, especially. It's kind of wide open right now, especially, with Dame and his situation. By the way, hope that he gets better. But I'm looking at the Cavs, and there's no way they can't be looking at the Boston Celtics right now and looking how dangerous and fine-tuned that they're looking, and be like, damn, we need to get our shit in order. Because when they went, what was it, that West Coast swing? Who did they lose to? I think it was the Clippers.
The Kings.
The
Suns.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this ain't really one of them times. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't one of them. So I'm keeping an eye on the Cavs. I still believe that they're going to get to the conference finals. I do believe that. I just don't know. I still don't believe that they're better than the Celtics. I really don't have a rant overall about the league, because it's actually been some good basketball being played. Rockets, Clippers. So I don't have a big griping session about basketball. It's been some beautiful basketball.
We already did the griping session.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah. What the fuck? What Kings? What are we doing? What are the Sacramento Kings do? What are y'all doing? What, like, sometimes we gotta, as much as we roast the players, we gotta roast these GMs and owners and presidents. What the fuck? The Bulls of the West? Dog, this team is bad. Dude, 2-8 in their last 10. They don't play good basketball. This isn't 1978. You got 4 7-footers out there and one dude that can shoot threes. Like, what happened? This is nothing like the Kings. They had built something and then they completely destroyed it to be mid as fuck.
Guess what? And that's why De'Aaron Fox said, I'm out this motherfucker. Because he said, I'm not having another head coach.
Dude, it's crazy.
And by the way, De'Aaron Fox don't get enough credit for that. He actually stood on business with that one. Okay, y'all find Mike Brown, a guy that's helping building this culture. Now I'm out of here. When people thought it was because of De'Aaron Fox that Mike Brown got fired, that was not the case.
No, it's just so much inconsistency.
So the same way a lot of people be criticizing players about getting coaches fired, that wasn't one of them. And that was actually a player that stood on business and said, you know what? I'm cool on y'all as an organization. And look where they at right now.
Dude, here's the truth. They don't have a 1A on that team. DeMar DeRozan at this age is not a 1A. Malik Monk's not a 1A. Zach LaVine's not a 1A. Sabonis is not a 1A. Valanciunas is not a 1A. Are they all-star caliber players? Absolutely. Are they 1Bs? Are they 2? Are they maybe a 3 on a championship team? For sure. But to put all them together and think we're going to out-talent even the Clippers? Nah. The Lakers? No. Houston? No. I just don't get what the point. Who's telling these guys how to build a team in today's era? And Doug Christie I think Doug Christie is a very good coach, but what can you do with that? You're going to throw post-ups and play, how many mid-rangers are you going to shoot all game? Like, what are we doing?
By the way, traded away, last point, traded away Tyrese Halliburton and traded away De'Aaron Fox.
Dude, come on, man.
You guys are amazing. I want you to get back to your wife, Perk. Thanks for taking the time. Channing, as always, your kiddos are running around. I do want to end on this note, a very positive note. The news dropping today that Candace Parker will have her jersey retired. The LA Sparks are retiring her jersey.
Took them long enough.
She is the most amazing human being ever. I love her so much. June 29th. So shout out to Candace Parker. She's also been a friend of our show and here on Road Trippin several times. So
yeah, we got to
get that like, subscribe button, follow us along. The playoffs are coming, which means that we're going to try to get back into these lives. So we love you all. We appreciate you. It's another edition.
See ya.